I hope you're all suitably fortified with fellowship and apple crumble. And I'll ask William to please to introduce our speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. For some time, my friends in Southland have been telling me stories about this $1 million original fundraiser who was associated with Venture Southland and various Rotary clubs in Southland. A very warm Wellington welcome to Gerry Forde, the $1 million original fundraiser. Gerry has been MC for 26 years, combining that with his skills as a comedian in his role as brand and event manager of Southland Spirit of a Nation. He had a very interesting landing at Wellington this morning, about half an hour late. Gerry has eaten in every Rotary and Lions Club in Southland, and so I hope we're measured up on that score today. Please welcome Gerry.
Thank you so much, Will. Oh, I was going to say it's great to be invited up here, but I actually invited myself. So it's great for you to accept my invitation. I'm very pleased. Thank you very much. Does everybody here know who I am? Does anybody here want to know who I am? I get the same thing every time I speak, because the only person anyone wants to know about from Invercargill is Tim Sherpa. So I do have a wee message from Tim. Oh, hi everybody, and look, it's wonderful to have Gerry up here in Wellington, because I might be the mayor of Invercargill, but he's the spirit of Southland. So, greetings from me, Tim, anyway. Great to be here. Today, of course, we will be looking at some fundraising, and that's what we're all about. And William and I have been talking about this, but I think at the start you really have to explain or get over the nervousness of speaking. I don't know that I was nervous before I got on that plane, but I was certainly nervous by the time I got on the tarmac. So, what I want to say, I want to go back to the first time that I ever spoke, and I hope this will be something that when I share it with you, it'll make you better speakers too. Because when I first started speaking, I had no fear at all. It was in the Bishop Shield competition, Catholic inter-secondary schools down in Southland and Otago, and only the cream of the crop, the 6th and 7th, the brightest and best ever made that Bishop Shield, and I was the first third former ever to make it. Oh, hard crowd, I was expecting a round of applause. Then again, I suppose it was an all-boys school, the category was poetry, and I was the only nomination. But anyway, I never forget the day. I turned up there, and there was the Bishop, there was the Shield, and there were the gorgeous 6th and 7th form girls, and I had this amazing poem from G.K. Chesterton about Don John of Austria blowing the Turks out of the water. I thought, oh, I'm going to be a great hit. The Bishop, the parents, the girls, and I was the only one in shorts. And I remember too that they were very tight here that I brought up from primary school just the year before. But I didn't care. As I took to that stage, I could feel these shorts bursting at the seams. And I had that, and I let rip with my poem. And I'll never forget the last verse, because it just built and built and built, and this is how it finished. Viva Hispania! Domino Gloria, Don John of Austria has set his people free! There's a huge silence right throughout the room, and then they all just burst out laughing. It was a case of too much adrenaline and not enough shorts. I think it's a wee summary of, I think, teenage life as well too. So there I've got the nervousness out of my system. And what else can I say about Invercargill? We had the World Shearing Championships down here just recently. Wasn't it fantastic? I even saw an old sheep farm from Dipton I hadn't seen for years. I think it's tied up with bees or something up here now, building fish. And him and I were kicking around at varsity, and we were at that real nervous time. We were both Catholic boys, and I know that I was very shy, about the first time going to get your contraceptives, because you couldn't just get them anywhere. You had to go to the chemist and personally ask at the counter. You probably remember that, some of you. And all I'd heard was a Catholic one you could put on from either end. So I ended up with a family of 4, and then Bill was so ashamed to say what he was really there for that he ended up with a garage full of toothbrushes and a house full of kids. So that's my connection with Bill English. It was great to see him doing so well, and Prime Minister. All right, fundraising. I'm a wee bit nervous here too, because we've got this man here who's legend with his jumbo tennis, and he's done such a great job. Let's give him a big round of applause. Brought the concept, brought the rackets, now it's heading down south. I think Otago and Southland are the next on the list, so well done, folks. Great stuff. Great stuff. Fundraising for me really came in for a passion to help volunteers. Hands up those who are a member of a volunteer organisation. You see, if we took away the volunteers overnight in New Zealand, all volunteers down tools, I would say something in the vicinity of 10,000 people would die overnight. But because we're always there and always working, no one notices. They just presume it's going to carry on. And of course it gets left to the little few all the time. So I thought if anyone I was going to help, I would help those people. And when I looked at the type of fundraiser people ran, I saw that they were all predictable, you know, quiz nights and auctions. And as an MC being pulled in, I would often have to pull it out of the fight. It was so boring that you had to start doing comedy and jokes to get it going. So I thought to myself, if you wanted to create a night that was so entertaining of itself, how would you go about it? And what I came up with was I just took all the things that people love to see on stage. People love to see comedians. So we've got an improv comedy thing. People love the old celebrity debates. So we've got a debate that's only 2 minutes each speaker, and the judges put the score up as we go, so she's all on. People love Idol, New Zealand Idol, American Idol, so we put 2 singers against each other, and they have a clash off. We have a mastermind quiz to see who's the brightest, right? And then people love a live concert, so we have a lip sync, where the aim is to turn the whole venue into a throbbing live concert, and who can do that best. It's a competition because Kiwis love competition. So you've got one side against the other, and you've got to pick 2 sides that have really got a rivalry. So for example, we took Lumsden against Mosman, and Wyndham against Edendale, and Tuatapere went against itself. I mean, when you're a small town on the edge, you've got to make your own fun. And we had those people come dressed in their own colours and desperate to win. Did I give you the night for the PowerPoint? Oh, you're brilliant. I thought I saw people looking through. That's good. People just in their own colours, cheering for the team. And the rule is, a lot of the judging is determined by how big the crowd support was. So you can imagine what it was like. People cheering and up on stage. There's some Rotarians. This was from Man versus Woman, which was 4 Rotary groups in Invercargill who came together to put on that event and selected all the celebrities to go on stage. And we made $80,000 that night, so it's a fantastic effort. All right. So that's the flyer fundraiser. But you know, you can talk about things. Oh, I must admit too, I like to engage the crowd. So within 10 minutes, we've got people standing up on seats and tables, and we've got people crashing the floor and trying to get up on the stage as well. And there's techniques for doing this. But I must admit, we have even had a bra go off, and we've had a streaker. But mind you, that was all in Tuatapere again, so I don't know. But anyway, so I thought rather than talk about it and show slides, we'd do a little mini flyer here today. So we're going to have the men against the women, all right? And the first competition is going to be the quiz. So I'm going to give you a mastermind teaser now. The one who can come up with the answer first scores the first point. Okay, so here we go. It is a meteorological fact that it is always a fine day in Southland. It's a fact. It's a fact. Can anybody tell me? The first person who can tell me how that is true will win it. Is it going to be a man or a woman? Come on, ladies, what do you got? Just say something, anything. Give me anything. Well, give me something. First thing that comes into your head.
Close to Antarctica.
Because we're close to Antarctica, it's better than Antarctica. I like that. Real good. Anybody else got anything else? It is actually a fact. It's true. Every day is a fine. It's a fact. Come on. Just say anything.
It's California.
It's because it's south of California? Brilliant. Okay. Connection, not quite what we're looking for, but it's good. It's on the trail. Yep.
Because it's day, not night.
Because it's fine during the day and not the night. Well, that's ingenious. Wait, that's even a better answer. Can anyone go further? Because it's not the actual correct answer. You've got Tuatapere. That's the funniest answer. So there's the woman doing the comedy. Has anyone got the actual truth? Why is it always a fine day in Southland? Yes, Lydia.
The town of Auckland.
Is that? You're right, it just feels fine to us. Like when I landed today, I thought, Jesus is warm. Incredible, yeah.
There's a good police force down there. Lots of traffic cops.
There's lots of fines. Oh my God, this is very good. Give this man a round of applause here. I can't believe it. God, you people are clever. But the answer will elude you. I'll give you a wee hint now. I didn't say it was a fine day in Invercargill. I said it was a fine day in Southland.
Somewhere in Southland.
Somewhere in Southland. Who said it first? Alan, was it you? Was it you two? You two, my dear. The woman get the first point. Well done. Okay, the next thing we'll do, you can see we had a wee build a bench thing going there, but what we did was improv comedy. but everyone gets told beforehand what the improv is to make it real good. So we've got we've got 2 women and 2 men who are going to get up the front and do some improv comedy for us. Give them a big round of applause. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, my girl, good work. Excellent. The women are keen to get up, but no sign of the men. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Yes. Give them a big round of applause. We need one more man. Come on, men. Peter is up. It's going to be. Oh, he's up. Peter's up. Yeah.
I've been walking on pig.
Tell you what, the woman got the first point and they're better organised. I'm getting worried, man, so you need a really big one here. Okay. Right, south of Invercargill, south of Stewart Island, even there's an island called the Auckland Island. And on there, there's a bunch of pigs. And they're called the Auckland Island pigs, funnily enough. And they've been inbred for 150 years. And they're the ugliest looking pigs you'd ever imagine. They were dropped there so that when the sailors got wrecked, they'd have some food. Alright, so they live in very tough things. So one of our 2 people is going to be the Auckland Island pig. So which one of you 2 would like to be? You'll be the pig. You come forward into the middle now, my dear. Give her some support there. And who's the male pig? There we go. Okay. So the first test is who can be the biggest pig, all right? Well, the best Auckland Island pig. So let's hear the snort. I want to see the body gesture. I want to see them go. Give them a bit of warmth. Get them going. Come on. Here we go. Yeah. See the interaction already and the comedy that's going on. And the competitive spirit. All right, the next 2 to come forward now. And your job is going to be to imitate Tim Shadbolt, because everyone Doc wanted to exterminate all these pigs off the island, and Tim wanted to save them because he thought they were cute, all right? So if you would like to go first, Peter, and you've got like 20 seconds to persuade this crowd why they give them a good reason and a good rendition of why they should save those pigs. Here we go. Here he is.
These pigs have been there for 150 years. They're not doing anybody any harm at all. They're confined to the island. They give sucker to suckers.
Sucker.
Suckers who get shipwrecked there.
Yes.
Suckers to their face.
Yeah. And of course, they've found that there's something in their blood that.
Well done. Give a big round of applause. Sorry, your time was up, Peter. I know you could have gone to great lengths here. Take it away, my dear. Give us a real Tim Shadbolt. Wow, that crowd. Come on.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day.
Go!
It's back of them. No, that's not beautiful things. Can't you see what I mean? Just they're so bloody cute.
Oh, the pressure is going on. Okay, so the next 2. You 2 now are going to change into dock officials, all right? So you 2, you're the pigs, all right?
Yeah.
So the 2 pigs, if you'd like, pigs come to the front, dock officials to the back, and now make this as entertaining as you can between the 2 of you, between the male and the female side. I want you to do a capture of the pig and make that as funny as possible. Make it interesting. Get her! Come on, give us some support. He grabbed her by the ear. Can you do something better than that? You're going to have to take her. You're going to have to take her down. Whoa!
Consider me got.
I don't know who was funnier, the boys, I think, a little air pull, or just a straight punch the pig right out. That's real. That's the south of the pros. That's bare-handed hunting. I like it. That's a woman. All right, so they brought these Auckland Island pigs back. All right, so the pigs come to the front there. And, of course, Tim used the mayoral fund to feed them up, and before long they were big fat pigs, so really, something to waddle around. And what is the first thing that an animal does when it is secure, has good housing conditions, and is well fed? What's the first thing? It breeds. All right, so we got to. Sorry, what did you say? What did you say? Breed. Yeah, say breeds. Yeah. All right, breed pigs. Let's see the pigs. If the pigs could breed, that would be wonderful. Away you go. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. Oh. There's no babies there. Yeah. And you can imagine the beautiful children that result. There we have it. it got to the point where there were that many pigs that poor old Tim's Mineral Fund was extinct, and once again the old ratepayers were coming on top saying we have to get rid of them. But here is a nice conclusion to the scenario. At that time, a Russian scientist had been doing work on type B diabetes, discovered that the pancreas of the Auckland Island pig had a cure for type B diabetes. So our final scenario is everybody hugging and jumping around and celebrating. Where we go? Well, give them all a big round of applause. I don't know who we can decide as the winner. They were just so good, weren't they? I'll decide by volume. Who thinks that just by cheering, who thinks that the men were the better actors in that scenario? Let's go. 2, 3, go. Hooray! Who thinks the woman were the better? Illegal use of the bowel. I tell you what, I'm going to give the men the sympathy vote and give them the win to keep it tighter. Right even. Okay. So it's 1-1. 1-1 in our flyer fundraising now. And the final one now is in this room to find out who is most proud of Rotary. So, and if we'll see if it's a man or woman at the end to clinch it and win it. So if you're really proud of Rotary, give me a hand, one hand up in the air. Who would put one hand up? That's very good. Look at all the hands. There wouldn't be one person with their hand down with you. If you're really, really proud, give me 2 hands. If you're really, really proud, stand up with 2 hands. Let's see you rise up. Who would stand up? Stand up for Rotary. My gosh, this is really good, yeah? It's trouble when you're in the front, you've got to do everything. If you're really, really proud of Rotary, you'd get up on your chair and you would reach up. Who's going to go on the chair for Rotary? Who's going to go? Here we are, here we are. Stay on the chair. It's not over yet. Stay on the chair. Really, really. At this point, we won't do what we did in Tuatapere, which was who would be prepared to take their top off. And everyone was doing it. It's who's prepared to do a haka on their chair for Rotary. Who will do it? So we hire my... Come on, one of the men. 3 women are doing it. Is there one man? Here he goes. Is there any words with that? Oh, that's not. There we go. Don't let them take it. Who have we got? It's going to be anybody? You want to go again? What is? Just thinking about it. I'll have to give a win to the men. Just Thank you very much. So that's how a flyer fundraiser goes. All right. There's audience participation, crowd going wild, and in between each act, we put in a set of auction items. So instead of having a big, long, boring bit at the end for auctions or in the middle, we just have a nice, tight set. So entertainment, auction. And because people are so high, and in a height way, then the auction bidding just goes through the roof. Because people are happy to have a good time. So there we go. So that's the flyer fundraiser. I thought I might have some time for a little bit of some questions. Yeah, that Rotary man versus woman one was an absolute ripper. And you can imagine one in Wellington, and it could be man versus woman. It could be Generation Y against the old farts. You know, if you put on an event similar to this, with the top entertainers there, you'll attract that young group in, and William and I are talking about that's a great way to launch a bit of promotion. When young people say, hey, look at this sort of cool events these guys are getting involved in, we might join. Okay? Any questions? Yes. Yes.
If we have an auction, we normally have alcohol involved. Is there any alcohol involved in your?
Absolutely. I just thought that was a presumption, so thank you, yes. Alcohol was part of it, and you know, I studied the whole process, and there's the first set of options, you throw stuff under the bus. Second set, you're probably about your second or third. Your middle tier is in the middle and actually peters off at the end. So it's not true that alcohol, the amount of alcohol, more alcohol means more money. There's a certain peak. So yeah, it's pretty crucial, but you've got to balance it. Yeah. Cool. Just as important to alcohol is that you're giving the people a good time, really good entertainment. They feel real good, they're in a positive space. You give people something, they give you something back, every time. Anything else?
What kind of group here in the city city dynamics are different. From
Yep, yep.
So what competing groups do you think might work in Wellington?
I think you could do a man versus woman. I think you could do, if you really wanted to go top corporate, you could do business people against professionals. So the lawyers, the doctors, and those against, against the business community. You could do that generation thing that I said, that Y generation against the old farts.
Town and country with the Wairarapa.
Town and country with the Wairarapa, yep, yep. Man versus any dynamic at all, right?
You could do different suburbs.
Yes, you could do too.
What's Karori?
Yeah.
You can bring to a temporary up here.
To a temporary show you how it's done. Yeah. Yes, Lydia?
I have to say I'm very worried about Americans in this moment. What would you do in terms of bringing out tolerance and respect for diversity with people when you do it?
It's amazing how bringing people together on that night does exactly that. People that are, like on the surface, it's a competition, but when they're all together at the end of the night, it's incredible the kind of the euphoria. We finish the night with dance beats, good dance music, and so people just celebrate and carry on in their own way. So, now the other thing about it is that at the night it's a competition. But in the 2 months previous, when we were organising the event, the committee all worked together. So Wyndham and Edendale Rugby Club members were actually sitting in the same room together. And that had never happened without a fight in the whole history of Southland. So they actually learned to get on and work together. And that actually happened too. And in Rotary, I was blown away because in Invercargill, the 4 Rotary clubs had never ever worked together on a joint project. And they came together and they didn't actually know each other. I knew them, but they didn't know each other. And by the end of that, man, they were swapping contacts, and that was the most awesome one because they were just so brilliant at what they did. So, but yeah, it actually brings people together in the committee stage underneath. The competition on stage is just to look competitive and fierce, to get the audience engaged and to boost the whole night. But it's actually about bringing people together. Because I started with Spirit of a Nation, which is the brand for Southland, and our thing is community and creating community, and that's what I was actually doing by putting on these things. I was bringing communities together. They raised the money together, and it went to their causes, all their volunteer causes, probably about 4 at a time. Cool. Thank you. Cheers.
Well, Gerry, after that period of time, I'm not quite sure how you go about thanking you, but who better to have a go at it than William?
Thanks, Gerry. That was great. The board of the Rotary Club of Wellington has issued a directive to the fundraising committee to identify an additional major fundraising project in addition to jumbo tennis. I think what Gerry has just showed us fits the bill superbly. We, the Jumbo Tennis Committee, are bringing Gerry and his wife to Wellington to MC for Jumbo Tennis on the 3rd of March. So we have time to think about it in the next 3 weeks. There's a challenge. On Jumbo Tennis, I'd like to thank all those people who've entered teams. We still have room for more teams, so please contact either me or Oliver. Please put your hands together for Gerry.
Well, you're all hyped up. Any members with really interesting, fun, impro events? Oh yes, thank you, Rosie.
Right, anybody here not visited Mexico yet? Please put your hands up if you've not yet visited Mexico.
If there's a wall, you can't get in.
Ah, well, we've got a special event for you, and there's no walls, no deserts to cross anything. There's an opportunity to visit the Embassy of the Republic of Mexico on Tuesday 21st of February. It's at level 2, 187 Featherston Street, hosted by our new club member, His Excellency, Ambassador Jose Gerardo Traslojeros Hernandez. There you go, to vocational visitors. Numbers are limited. Please register on the club's website if you're interested. Thank you.
A couple of things. Those many of you who didn't register and come on our Kapiti Island trip on Saturday missed a great day out. But we're arranging another walk, and this one will be much easier than slogging up to the top of Kapiti. How many of you know about the Commonwealth Walkway in Wellington? We certainly should do, because it's a series of roundels commemorating places of interest in the Commonwealth, but also acknowledging our place in the Commonwealth. And the last one was opened by Sir Anand and Dame Patsy not long ago, so we thought, well, we should walk it ourselves. And so Wednesday the 8th of March, George has agreed to lead us. We're still working on some of the details, but it'll be a nice easy walk, no more than a couple of hours around the Commonwealth Walkway. So check the events and register if you can, and there's no charge. And of course, it's Thursday this week. Thanks.
Well, Jumbo Tennis yet again, and on your tables you will have a form which is for volunteers. So if you could please complete it, and we'll go around and pick them up at the end. We really need volunteers to do all sorts of amazing activities, not chores, activities on that day. And Rebecca will also be sending out continuous emails to you about all sorts of things which will help make that day incredible. So if you could complete your form and indicate what it is you'd like to do and what time you'd have available, that would be great. Thanks very much.
And lastly, and how to hype up after that speech we've had, the 100,000 trees, the forest at the heart of Wellington progress report. Only 60,000 to go by about 2021. And some progress this week from conservation volunteers who we're working with at Bunnings have sponsored basically the building of a nursery, which will lead to a further 6,000 plants being generated in a nursery just near the O'Hara Bay tip. And the City Council has been so impressed with the work that they've upped the number of plants they're willing to give. So this year, there's 5,500 plants heading our way, up from 3,000 last year. So we need to get to the 10,000 level. And our priority this year is to start publicising it and have display boards at the beginnings of the tracks on Mount Victoria and well-tracked places, and sponsors who might wish to have visibility there. That's the #1 priority as well. So thanks for your gearing up this type of the sponsorship routine.
Perhaps they could have singing competitions while they dig, Richard, or some such thing. Right. General business. Where am I? Terrible when you can't read the font that you put it up at. There's something happening on the 27th. Oh, yes, that's right. The DG is coming to our lunch meeting on the 27th. Would board members please organise their time so they can stay behind to meet up on a more individual basis with the DG and AG. The new website is swinging into production. Is that the right word, Michaela, for it? Something like that? Yeah, yes. And there's a meeting about that on the... No, that's when you're speaking at the 13th of March, isn't it? Yeah, and all will be revealed. Those of you that have been trying to make up your mind about location, meal options and cost options for the club lunch, the survey will be sent out about that this week. The new Progress Club is making progress, and there's a formal meeting of interest, people interested in it, on the 20th of March at the Taranaki Street Methodist Church. And the Centennial Project group is progressing too. And I just got an email about that this morning, and it's got all sorts of major groups involved with it, getting to be bigger than Ben-Hur or change the world, really. And research into our history is continuing. Richard introduced Julia, I think, the last meeting or the one before that. And we're getting a bit of leverage about it with Rotary International and the zone and district level tapping into it. And speakers in advance. Next week is Rachel Holderness speaking on Red Cross and the power of humanity. On the 27th is a club day, and that will be the DG visiting, and there'll be a discussion about the venue. Susan?
And Brian Lynch will be speaking about New Zealand trade in the new era of the European Union and Trump.
Okay, so that's on the 20th or the 27th?
27th.
27th, thank you. And on the 6th of March, Dr. Brian Ensor, Director of Palliative Care at Mary Potter Hospice, is speaking. And on the 13th of March, Michaela having swung everything into action, Michaela and Rebecca will be introducing us to the club's new website. Anything else I've missed there, or someone needs to add? Has the Queen of Jumbo Tennis just moved there, or are you trying to read it, are you, Helen? Yeah, okay. See me afterwards if you need the translation. Now, thank you so much for your, you couldn't really call it a presentation. I thought it was great to have fun, but also to be having fun with someone who really knew exactly what he was doing. And it's kind of like comedy with spine or something like that. It was great. Excellent. I hunted around for a quote because I'm not big into what we did 50 years ago or whatever. And I couldn't find anything on initiative. I kept looking at Gerry and trying to think of words for it. In the end, I thought of inspiration. This is from Jack London, and I thought he's the last person on this earth to have been interested in a club, and it's not how he meant it, but you can't wait for inspiration. You have to go after it with a club. See you next week.